Once again, we're back with another awesome full-size Star Wars helmet and another one that many people have been asking for a very long time. Let's get into this. All right, welcome to another episode of Paul's Collectibles. It's good to have you as always. Thanks for joining me. And today we're talking about full-size Star Wars helmets once again, and another one that I'm pretty excited about. This is the Hasbro Black Series Shoretrooper helmet, which just came in today from Entertainment Earth. Now, if you see in the background, I actually have a Shoretrooper helmet that I've talked about several times here at Paul's Collectibles, and that is the high-end Anovos version. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to get this new Hasbro one out of the box and take a look at it, and then I'm going to compare it side by side to the Anovos version, which was like $700 versus maybe $100 or so for the Black Series, so you can see the differences. And also, I have to give a shout out to my buddy Luke Reynolds over in the United Kingdom. This helmet has been out over there for a few weeks now, and he did a great comprehensive video of this helmet already. So when I show it to you, I'm gonna hit the highlights and give you some of the good things and bad things about it. But if you get a chance, go over and check out Luke's video on his channel, Reynolds Reviews, like I said, because he did an excellent full comprehensive video on this helmet already, and it's a really good one. So with that, let's get this thing in front of some lights and take a look at it. And as always, we'll start with the box really fast, and there's really nothing surprising about this box. They've been using the 5-sided box like this for quite a while, where you get some pictures and schematics of the helmet, and then this really cool Black Series insert right here, and a couple of other things. And this one looks like it's going to say that it has a voice changer on it. So with no lights being on this one and having that silly voice changer, we're not even going to look at that, because the voice changers, quite frankly, are just terrible and they don't get the job done. So I don't even worry about them. And here she is out of the box. And to start with, this is the head rig that comes inside. And as usual, as you can see, it has these little notches on either side, and it will snap into the wells on either side of the helmet inside. And the only way this thing really fits me is if I take this completely out. I'm sure it might get big enough for my head, but it's easier for me to just pop it out, and then the helmet goes right on my head. But let's start off with the obvious here. It's a good sturdy plastic, as usual. Black Series is getting really good about making some sturdy helmets, and with a lot of intricate detail. The lenses are really good. And this thing, upon first inspection, is just incredibly impressive. What a great helmet. Now, you'll find that in a lot of third-party manufacturers, like Etsy shops and things like that, one of the things that they have a problem with is this brow up here. And I've shown some examples of that in my channel in the past. So I was happy to see that Black Series has this robust and far enough away. And when we look at the top, I'll show you there's a secondary part behind there, and that is what's supposed to be there. So that right off the bat, that's very cool. I'm glad to see that they did that. The details on the front here, this is hard plastic. Oh, very intricate and well done. Everything is cut in. There doesn't seem to be any decal work on here per se. Underneath, you can see that they have the vents in there like they're supposed to be. This up here is, wow, it's just barely raised. It might be painted on, or it might be a very thin decal, but there's that telltale insignia that we got on the Shoretrooper helmet. And as we come around, you can see that they've weathered this. Now, in this case, unlike the Black Series Death Trooper helmet, which we got, this one should be weathered, and I agree with that. This is more of an outdoorsy type trooper, and they put some logical weathering in some of the cracks and crevices where you would expect to find it. Some of this is interesting, but you know, along the brow line and in here where dirt would naturally settle. And as my friend Luke mentioned in his video, so I'll only go over it a little bit, some of this weathering is really good, and some of it is just darn right silly. Now, it reminds me, and as we get around, you'll see, of what American football players put on their face to, I don't know, dampen the lights or whatever. And you'll see, because here's a good example. Here's just like a black smudge. It doesn't look like anything. It doesn't look like a blaster bolt hit him there or something like that. And so that one's really odd and kind of out of place. And then down here, this almost looks like it was brush painted on with like a watercolor brush. It's really weird. It's not real good. There should just be weathering in the crevice up in here, but this just looks like somebody took watercolors and went down it. Now this right here, that's cut in. That's done really well. And as we come around, we have another football player blemish just thrown on right there. It's just really odd looking. But the detail in this is really good as you come around. These are three-dimensional, done really well. And then on the back, look, there's no weathering in the crevices or in the crevices up here. There's just like a mustache and mouth smudge around the back. So some of this weathering is perfect for what it's supposed to be, and some of it's downright silly, if you want me to be honest with you. So, and as you come around, once again, three-dimensional, and we've got some interesting, I don't know, I'm gonna call it just phoned in weathering right here, but there's some in the crevice. So it's pretty hit or miss on the weathering. Overall, it's tolerable, it's not horrible, especially in this price point. It's a good, nice, robust helmet. It's just like I said, some of the weathering looks like maybe it was a kindergarten school class project or something. And you can see where this piece is separate from this piece. There's a crease right here coming down, and there is another crease right here coming down, but they're not super noticeable. They're not bad. There looks like this is the part where you're gonna put the batteries, if I had to guess. Once again, we're not messing with the voice changer on this. They're super silly. And as you come around, another, let's just throw some weathering on. I wish they had just gone a little easier and just put it in the cracks and the crevices and things like that, rather than put these weird smudges on here. They've done smudges in the past, specifically on the Captain Rex helmet, but they made it look like it was like a blaster bolt or something. This stuff is a little silly. But when you look at this helmet, for the price point especially, size, proportions, colors, it looks really good. And I'm just being kind of nitpicky, I guess would be the best way to put it, as far as the weathering is concerned. Let's take a look at the top and behind that brow, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. And as you can see, there's somewhere that smudge weathering is what I'm calling it now, but they do have weathering in the crevices on the top of the helmet here. Now, this is what I'm talking about. If you go back on my channel and look at some of the other types of helmets, like the ATST driver and the Turbo Tank driver that have these types of visors up top here, people at times will tend to just make this outer piece right here and attach it just to the front of the helmet, and it looks kind of silly and it doesn't look robust enough. Hasbro went out of their way, and good job to them, kudos, to put this secondary piece behind here, because this is a double shield type of thing, so that when you look at the side and the front of the helmet, this brow piece, this visor, doesn't just look mashed against the helmet. So very good overall. Great helmet. The weathering's a little off in places, but man, just it's beautiful. And we'll take a look inside real fast. And as usual, we're getting pretty much the same pattern inside now with these helmets. There's some fake electronics types of things in there, and if you put your hand all the way in the top, there's some pads up there in case, you know, it rests on the top of your head. Like I said, for me, I had to pull out the head rig so it would fit on my head. But let's compare this to the Anovos version now and see what the differences are, or if there are even any differences. Okay, as I brought the Anovos helmet over, this is the Anovos helmet, or now they're called Denuo Novo, and this is the Hasbro Black Series helmet right here. I did a quick informal weigh test with both my hands. Believe it or not, the Black Series helmet is actually heavier, even though this is made out of fiberglass. So I was kind of surprised, but if you look at them, two things strike you right away. Number one, look how much bigger the Black Series helmet is. And this does fit on my head. It's a little snug, and I'll show you in a minute. It's completely finished on the inside. And so does this one, but look how much bigger the Black Series helmet, once again, just like the Death Trooper and some of the other, like the Captain Rex helmet, look how much bigger it is than the Anovos helmet. And I would consider this one, quite frankly, to be the pinnacle of what you'd be looking for in a helmet like this. $700, a little over $100. And number two, look at the difference in the color. This one almost has like a banana, like a banana hue to it, and this is more sandy brown. And then, of course, the weathering on this one is far beyond what you're getting on this one. I mean, it's much more logical. It's in places where you would expect it. And when you look at the side comparisons, I mean, it's very, very evident of just how much larger this helmet is than this one. Like I said, they both fit my head, so that's interesting. I don't know if there's like extra space in between the interior, because this one's kind of snug, as is this one. And then you can see the weathering on this one makes much more sense as opposed to some of the smudge weathering we're getting over here. And just a quick view of the back. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This is what the weathering should look like with these crevices and some of the, you know, like it dripping down a little bit, whereas over here we just went with a sponge. But there you have it. There's just like a quick comparison and review of the new Black Series Shoretrooper helmet. Overall, this thing is absolutely awesome. Knocked it out of the park. The weathering, little strange, so that takes a couple of points off from perfection, but man, I will tell you, at this price point, you just can't beat this helmet, and I know tons of people were looking for this one. And frankly, if you're even minorly crafty like I am, I barely have any artistic skills, you could probably fix some of this weathering and make it look a little bit better in a project in your own home. So yeah, can I recommend this one? Absolutely. I think you need this one in your collection. It's from Rogue One, which is around the era of the original trilogy. An absolute must-have if you're into these helmets. And frankly, I think it's going to look great on display. And in closing, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, maybe consider doing that. It's a great way to support my efforts here at Paul's Collectibles. And if you're already a subscriber or someone who's been watching my videos for a really long time, you already know I greatly appreciate you. And with that, I'll see you on the next video.